Hello guys, how are you doing? Okay guys, a quick one. Okay, so I'm actually filming this video in the middle of the night. I think I must be around 1 a.m. or thereabouts right now. And you notice I'm filming alone without my husband because my husband is currently not around, kind of. But I was just thinking about it, just at night I listen to messages, pray sometimes and stuff like that. And then this thing just dropped to my head. I just began to meditate on it and I just thought it would be right to put out a video. So I was already in my night wear. I just had to run into the room and just get something that I could wear just to make this video. Okay, now, how does that? Guys, I have seen a prevalent trend in our society, particularly that has to do with our mentality, particularly we African people, our mentality about giving birth, procreation, that I really find very disturbing. And what do I mean by this? Now, you see a young person, somebody newly married, in fact, from the very wedding venue or the occasion of the wedding, virtually, like during our wedding, like maybe 90 or 95% of people, all those elderly people who were there who would pray during wedding, all of them would pray and say, you have children, you have triplets, you have quadruplets, you have this, you have that. There's rarely anybody who would pray and say, may the Lord increase your income, may you fulfill purpose and destiny. You see, so in a way, this kind of clouds our mentality about what should be the next thing after getting married. And I see a lot of ladies, they are literally stressed out. Literally stressed out. And you can see them and you can just know that, oh no, this should not be it. Because they've just been configured in such a way that, hey, after school, so you see a young lady who practically struggled through her university education, didn't really have life smooth, have to hustle from here to here, beg this one, could do this one, just to get through the university process, and then NYC and everything. And sometimes even during NYC or anything. Now, I'm not of the school of thought that says so there have to be a specific so before you get married or something. You should know when you're ready for marriage. And of course, yes, there should be certain things in your life that has happened to trigger the event, and then it's okay, the next event in my life now is marriage. However, you see, then they finish NYC or maybe during NYC or whatever, they get married, and then the next thing they have babies, and then they're just so stressed. There are ladies, there are people, both male and female, that all their life they've never waited to just catch their breath. To okay, what's next for me at this level? They just keep running that rat race, like the society says it should be. Okay, so finish school, you're struggling through school, this one, you've never even settled down, you've never, and the next thing, you literally see them very stressed. Sometimes I see ladies that are my age men and they're looking so old. Why? Because the stress of life is real, coupled with the fact that some of them now have 2-3 children, that they really don't have the finances to cater for. Guys, that you're married doesn't mean that the next thing in your life should be to start making babies. Seriously, this is a reality that we must come to terms with. I just wrote something on my WhatsApp page and I'm like, you live in Lagos, for instance, you barely have a stable source of income, you're jumping from one downfall to another. Sometimes you even use Molway or whatever it's called. Sorry for people that know, because you may not understand, but these are alternative means of transportations. And sometimes you even have to trek some distance so that you can cut costs and everything. And just because you're married, the next thing you're thinking about is making babies. Bringing babies into this stress, is that really the next thing for you? Seriously? Like I tell people, babies do not automatically equal living legacies in life. A lot of people make babies, a few people make legacies. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with raising children and everything. You can train your children to become legacies for you, but there's a work you must put into it. It doesn't just happen. And some of that work include that they need finances, they need guidance, they need a sense of direction and purpose. So if you yourself don't even have a sense of direction and purpose, you cannot give it out. Seriously, because this is the reason why we have a lot of problem in the society. People just, sometimes when I walk around in Lagos, I see people who live under the bridge. You know, all these women who just stand around to do menial jobs or carry things or, you know, or sell nose marks under the bridge and everything. And you see children there. Some of them are currently pregnant. And my imagination can be really graphic sometimes. Like, really, this woman lives under the bridge. So where has she been having sex? Seriously. Like, is she saying she's comfortable enough to have sex to make babies in this condition? Then you should be comfortable enough to take the responsibilities of those babies, because these are the children that will grow many times and become menace to the society, and they have this entitlement mentality. My sister was telling me a story one time, how that she was around the school gate in Akure Futa, and there was this, you know, very small girl or so, maybe around 5 years old or something, that was begging for money. And then he came to this Igbo man's shop that was just trying to set up his shop early in the morning and everything. And she stood right at the entrance of the shop, and the guy was trying to tell her, like, oh, sorry, please, can you leave there? Tell the little girl. And the little girl refused to leave there. And the man was like, what's happening early in the morning? And the girl said, unless you give me money, I will not leave this place. And I don't know, according to them, maybe the man eventually gave her something little just so that she would allow him shade. And the guy is like it wasn't sufficient. Like, they trained those children to make it look like the society is responsible for their well-being, which is wrong. Some of them meet you on the way, they ask you for money, you don't give them anything, they curse. I know in Chevron, where I lived before I got married, at that junction there, Chevron in Lekki, in Lagos Island, you see those outside children there around. When they ask you for money, you're rushing to work early in the morning. When they ask you for money and you don't give them, they curse under their breath. They see all kinds of things at you. Why? Because they've been made to, and their parents live there just by the roadside and everything. And some of them have like 5, 6 children, for crying out loud. Where do they have that sex? Why do they want the comfort of having such sex to produce babies? I don't understand. We just keep adding problem to the problem of the society. So if you're a sane person, you don't live under the bridge, fine, thank God. But should making babies be your next priority? Have you really asked yourself, is this really what I need? Or just because the society says yes, once you finish, and then you get married, and then the next thing is having babies, and then after having babies, you train babies, and then after, and so some people live their life really empty. So at the end of the day, they are not fulfilled, they feel frustrated, they feel irritable, they are bitter, and there's a lot of things like just going on with them. Why? Because they've never really found fulfillment. All their life, they've just been living for something else, or doing something else that somebody said, or just running some rat race that society said you should run. I don't understand. See, we are human beings, and as human beings, we only live this life once. So it is important that you make the most of the life that you have. There are people who they didn't give birth, yet they left legacies. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't give birth. Of course, the Bible says children are a heritage of God. However, you should not be pressurized into making babies or bringing children into the world. Seriously, you should be ready for it as young couples. You should put your life together first and be sure that, okay, at this time we are ready to accommodate a third party into our lives. Do you have a plan for your own life? What direction is your own life going? Your life doesn't even have direction. You just want to have baby because that's just what the society says. And then you just bring in babies to the world that have no direction because you're supposed to guide them into getting their direction for life. But you too, you don't even have a direction. How much more then having directions for their own life? So there's just a lot of people, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of, and at the end of the day we are frustrated, we blame our government and everything. Fine, the government has its own. But if you as an individual, you can take control and charge of your life and trust God to help you to make the right decisions at the right time, many of the things that stress us out will really, really reduce. And then at the end of the day, you're giving birth to children, you are sowing a seed of bitterness in them. Some so that did not give us money. If only auntie so gave us money. People who sat down to plan their own life, now you are sowing a seed of bitterness into your own children against them, which is very wrong. So please, and if you're just part of the society, you're just a random person, before you pray to people and say, may God give you twins, may God this, that, young couples, please, have you prayed that may God increase their income? Have you prayed that may they find purpose? Have you prayed that may their life find fulfillment? Seriously, you think you're doing them a good by saying, may God give them triplet and everything? Children does not automatically bring solution. For every child that made it in life, or for every child who found purpose, many times it is either because they have parents who understand the parts of life and purpose and leaving legacies for them. Even we as individuals, we are still trying to meet up with certain things that our parents did not have the understanding early enough. So there are children that they've not yet given birth to right now, like as we speak, and they've not yet given birth to them. But because of the kind of family that they will fall to, they already have planned. So that child now is somewhere with you that your parent practically had nothing, practically gave you nothing. All the little things you know, you are just beginning to learn it as an adult. So you are even behind in destiny already. You are trying to catch up. So you've not even catch your breath. You've not even settled yourself. And the next thing you're bringing in children. Why? Because that's what the society says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the next thing you're running. And sometimes that's why some of our parents or some elderly people lived unfulfilled life. At the end of the day, you see that the man is 70, he has used all his life just to train children, and then he died even before the children began to fulfill purpose and began to, make ends meet in order to, show him appreciation or something. And life is just unfulfilled for him, and then you want to reinvent the circle, you want to reinvent the wheel. It doesn't make sense. Seriously. I really just hope that we can think over these things. Sometimes it's not just that it is poverty or lack of money that causes some of these things. Sometimes it is our mindset, the way we see things. And if you just be sincere to yourself and just think about it, oh, my father had 8 children. Even though he was a good man, he practically struggled all through his life just in order to fend for the 8 children or 10 children. His last born was still in JS1 when he eventually died. And because all his life, he didn't really do much with his life, because every little money he had, he has to send it to this and send it to that child and send it to that child, and he was practically struggling. And the man died, and you're feeling bitter, oh, my father did not get to enjoy. But have you ever thought about it and said, okay, no, I will not reinvent this wheel, I will not continue in this process? Seriously. So even though you give birth to children, you feel that you have the resources now to have one. Have you planned and said, okay, how many? It is not the number of children that equals the level of legacy that you leave behind. Seriously. If anything, number of unplanned children have increased the world's problem more than bring a solution. I really hope that each of us can think about this thing and that God will really grant us understanding. Alright guys, my name is Odoayetobi Abraham, and this is the Abraham's channel. And if you're watching on Instagram or via WhatsApp, my name is Odoayetobi Abraham. I really hope that you can think about this and this really helps you in one way or the other. Do have a nice night, because I'm actually, maybe nice night or nice morning or nice afternoon from wherever you're watching. Just have a great day. Bye.